Virgo.
Hello Virgo, this is your forecast for March of 2013, and I am so excited about the planets this month for everybody. The little stellium that we were speaking of last month, it's not so little, it's actually 5 or 6 planets. They're all together. They're now all cropped up and they've moved from your 6th house to the 7th house of partnership and your spouse or your significant other, or it could also be a business partner, like a one-on-one connection. But let me tell you though, your chart is lining up like a Christmas tree right now, and you got the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and the new moon and Neptune all in the 7th house, and it's in the house of Pisces, or in the sign of Pisces, in the house of Libra. So talk about relationships and the spiritual, emotional, romantic side of your relationships. This month is a dream month for you because all of them are right there focusing in this direction. You only have 3 other planets out in the other areas of your life right now, which is Jupiter, which is in your 10th house, which is really good because that's career, and I'll come back to that. And you have Saturn in your 3rd house for siblings. There might be something there that needs to kind of balance up, shore up a little bit. And then it's your children, where Pluto is. And it's also the house of true love. So we'll get back to that too. But besides those other 3 planets, this is where you're going to be focusing all of March. And let me tell you though, if you haven't experienced it before, you will probably be experiencing it this month. And we're talking love, 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 and more. Yeah, let's start off on top of the month, because this month is not only having a stellium, which is very rare, but it's a touch and go month, meaning that there's aspects kind of back to back coming in that's going to be triggering you on that first week. Then it's going to be quiet. It's like something just dropped off the face of the earth there for 2.5 weeks. And that might be a little strange, so don't let it fluster you when you get there. Just take that quiet time. It's like there's something within spirit, mind, and body that needs to sink in from what took place here now through February and this very special first week of March. And it's time to kind of meditate and figure out what it is you truly do want to come from this. And then at that very last week, those last days from 26th and 27th, you got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 transits all hitting like this within those 2 days. So everything's going to feel like it's going to happen at once. So yeah, let's start top of your chart. That is Jupiter. Thank God Jupiter is now moving direct, which it did here end of January. It always takes a couple of weeks for it to kind of find and pick up its speed again, which it did in February. But now, since we're in March, it has already found its traction. You should see things coming together for you in the career field, and there might even be a second job opportunity coming up for you. It's in the sign of Gemini, so sometimes you'll get a double whammy there. Anything Jupiter does, it does it big and it does it generous. And then we have Pluto, 3rd house, so communication is very important. What you say, how you say it, how you communicate. There might also be some challenges as far as traveling or short distance travel, or something karmic connected to it as well. Saturn is always our karma, and 3rd house is travel. Also now Saturn has moved retrograde, which it will be until July 8th. So it's going to take a step back, okay? So it's not going to be that prevalent as it has been. And then we have Pluto in that 5th house for either true love, which then could show very passionate energies, very intense feelings, or it could also be projects, creative projects, self-expression. And in that case, there's a lot of intensity coming up through your wanting or your need to be creative. And also it represents love, so you can see that love will turn more intense on you than it did years in the past, but coming into its own here, wanting to express this inner passion. And then there's children, so you might have children now coming forward very strongly in the way that Pluto can, marking their territory, marking their sense of self, and wanting to take charge and rule. And so, yes, there might be a little butting of heads with children. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's just finding each other and respecting each other's level for it. Because Pluto can be very private as well. It is the ruler of Scorpio, so you might notice that some of your children want a little bit more alone time, or at least to be able to keep things a little bit more secret perhaps. And that is good as long as there's openness in those areas that are important between parents and children. So let's do a rundown of your planets here this month. On the 1st, you will have Sun sextile Pluto and trine Saturn. This means that you will be communicating really deeply here, for one, either with a beloved other, which 5th house represents, or it could also be very important talks that you will have with your children or one of your children. And I see you putting your authority behind it, what is important to you, what you want and what you don't want, and especially what you don't want is important here. But you're able to communicate this in a way that it will be received well. You might have been piling up on certain things that you've been wanting to talk about for a certain number of months, but now it's coming out. You know, it's time to serve this. It's a perfect time, because on the 6th and 7th, you have 2, 4, 6 very strong supportive transits with Venus, which is love, communicating with Pluto about your passion, what you truly desire, what you appreciate and what you don't appreciate. And your partner won't really know unless you express it. So this is the time to do so, and you can do it very tastefully. You can do it with a lot of integrity. Saturn is there too, also by trine with that Venus. And you're communicating it with compassion and love and understanding and empathy too, if you need to go that far, because Mercury here is conjunct Venus in Pisces, so that gives it that sense of really paying attention to and feeling your partner's feelings as well. And plus, Mercury is having to talk with Pluto, so that's very deep and intimate, private things that you would like to share, and you're sharing it with a lot of trust because Saturn is also sextiling Pluto. So it is really time to bring this to your partner, whatever it is, and do know that he or she won't know unless you share and you express. And some of you Virgos don't really like to be too open because you analyze a little bit and hold things close to heart. But this month, of all months this year, is the time to share with your partner exactly what it is you want from this relationship. If you're not in a relationship, you might very well meet somebody that is just going to fly you over the moon, Virgos, okay? It's a great month. And then suddenly from the 7th, it's going to be totally quiet for 2.5 weeks. Nothing much going on. And you might have felt from, wow, this opening, this sharing that you've been doing, this bonding that you've had, and then suddenly it's quiet. That might give a few of you a little heebie-jeebies, because what does it mean that it's suddenly now quiet? But you know what? It's time to download. It's a quiet time where things are setting in. And then for it to come up at the end of the month, 26th and 27th, on those 2 days, you got 9 aspects here kicking in back to back, which is actually going to give you the outcome or the output of what you gave there that first week in the month. You will see Mars, which is men. It's also drive and ambition and goals, coming in with a big, giant Jupiter, abundant gift to you. And it doesn't have to be a physical gift. It could be a spiritual or an emotional gift where you suddenly can see the horizon where you're heading. It will open the doors. And Mars is going to be square Pluto, so there's a lot of drive, there's a lot of intensity on this day. There's a lot of healing taking place, going on as well, because Jupiter is there with Chiron. And then we have the sun and moon being opposed to one another here on the 26th. So you will feel that both your conscious self and your subconscious self might feel a little pulled, stretched, but also filled with this Jupiter energy. So it's really great. Followed by the 27th, the day after, Venus is conjunct the Sun. It's a lovey-dovey day where things feel harmonious, things are graceful, you are very charming and coming across in this loving way. And then Uranus is going to give you a big unexpected type news because both the Sun and Venus is conjunct Uranus. So it may feel like out of the blue, here's a news flash with something that you're going to be will tickle your heart, so to speak. And then we have the full moon on this day, so it's harvest time from the intentions that you planted there on the 11th with the new moon, but also harvesting things that you set up there in February. You'll see how now things are going to come together with this. And then it ends here also on the 27th, same day. Mercury is communicating here with Pluto very directly, very deeply, very intensely, I'd say, on matters of importance, and that will be between you and your partner, your significant other, or your boyfriend, girlfriend. And it could also be if you need to speak with your children or one of your children. This is the time to really wrap up what you kind of set out to do there in the beginning of the month. So, you know, Virgos, this is a great month. Mercury is retrograde, that's all I can say. So try to avoid signing any papers, contracts, anything of importance until after the 17th, just so you don't have to redo things. You can negotiate though there earlier in the month, that is fine. But after the 17th, if you can, wait to sign any papers or buy any new equipment, big things, because they might be a little bit on the haywire side. But yeah, I want to thank you also for all the comments and feedback. There has been a lot, and I've tried to answer you by email what I could. But what I'm doing for you, and I am excited about this, Virgo, is I'm putting together classes for the various sun signs, and this pertains also to you and your sign, because you have several questions coming forward, and the tubes here only allows me a certain amount of time. And of course, I can't go through everything here in a 12-minute, 14-minute period. So be sure to check the link on upcoming classes for March so you can find out a little bit more about it. And I am excited, and I hope I'll see you there. But yes, we will be concluding more insights on this particular scope because you have all those planets in your relationship house. And I know you will be quite curious about that as well. So in the meanwhile, listen to your moon sign, rising sign, and that of your partner so you know what's going on with him or her. And I will see you soon. Bye now.